The client asked for a city of the future. To imagine the future, we had to begin with the present. To understand the present, we first needed insight into the past. What follows is a map of time expressed through the language of architecture.
This is the architectural mythologisms.
The simplest possible representation of the present moment is the point, because a point possesses only position and no other characteristics. The problem, however, is that a point cannot carry meaning. Its only value lies in indicating location. Since our aim is to construct a complete threefold understanding of time, past, present, and future, the point alone is insufficient, although it remains the necessary beginning. Everything in architecture begins with a point. To expand the point, we must first assume the existence of a field within which the point occurs. This field simultaneously becomes the place that contains both the past and the future as abstract ideas. The prerequisite for such a field is consciousness. The square has often served as the formal representation of consciousness because it establishes distinctions: inside and outside, self and other, the four cardinal directions. The square is the symbol of the earth. If a point is inscribed within a square, it becomes practically invisible, since it possesses no content of its own. The point, therefore, has to be translated into a line. The result is a line dividing the square into two halves, the realm of the past and the realm of the future. Here, the line is an infinitely thin boundary separating two abstract realities, the past and the future. They are non-existent in an objective sense. The past no longer exists because it has already occurred, while the future does not yet exist because it has not yet happened. Consciousness alone is capable of conceiving such states of non-existence. The past is a continuous form. It is continuous because it contains no interruptions. It unfolds from the beginning of time and space until the present moment. Because of this uninterrupted nature, the past appears as a circular form. A circle has no beginning. Repetition and return are among the fundamental geometric definitions of the past. When the circular shape and continuous movement are translated into an algorithm, the result most closely resembles the form of a wave, a linear sentence composed of rises and falls, conscious and unconscious dimensions, personal and collective layers. When this pattern is developed to its geometric extreme, it becomes a simplified version of Freud's iceberg repeated infinitely. The past constitutes the present. Complexes define our fears, heroes define our ideals. Victories cultivate courage, while losses produce doubt. Without the past, there is no present. Consciousness is fundamentally historical. Even when invisible, the past always finds a way to return. The present, however, is not determined solely by the past. It is equally shaped by the future, by goals, aspirations, and ideals. If the present were determined only by past, it would be a static configuration, yet the present is inherently dynamic. Unlike the past, the future appears unfinished from the perspective of the individual, because it has not yet occurred. There is no certainty that it ever will. Anticipation fragments the future into focal points. By its nature, anticipation does not perceive the whole, it concentrates on particulars. The unpredictability of the future is visible in its sudden changes, unexpected shifts of direction and trajectory. Yet these very changes are what we expect from the future. The future is surprise. The future is unrealized desire. It is a goal awaiting materialization under the influence of the past. It is something we gradually become and eventually inhabit. Certainly, the future bears the marks of the past, and these influences are always evident. But this does not mean that the future is merely a replica of the past. The future possesses its own identity. The past pushes, the future pulls. Aristotle's line standing between the past and the future is not static. It is dynamic by nature. Its movement resembles the motion of a snake. The line of the present continuously oscillates between two opposing poles, the position of the past and the position of the future. This movement is a simplified image of what Jung describes as a process of individuation. The balance of this movement is what we understand as a psychological equilibrium, a consciousness that is neither trapped in the past nor consumed by the future, yet neither frozen within a static present. This journey has both a beginning and an end. It begins in the past and ends in the future. It starts from the point, travels through the square, and concludes in the circle. The movement between these two forms is precisely what explains its vitality. As Leonardo da Vinci wrote, life is movement. The square is in fact the principle of the circle manifested in the physical world. The circle is both origin and destination. The square is the path and the instrument. The circle belongs to the metaphysical dimension while the square belongs to the physical one. The end is identical to the beginning. The square is the material body of the circle. We arrive at the final instance, an architectural algorithm. Again, we begin with the square as the representation of consciousness. To the right lies the past, continuous, rhythmic, and predictable because it has already occurred. To the left lies the future, arrhythmic, unpredictable, and fragmented. At the center stands the present, a fluid line moving constantly between these two currents. Together they form the complete threefold map of time, past, present, and future. From another point of view, the image changes completely. Everything begins with the circle. Its first transformation occurs through its squaring. The constitution of consciousness, the position from which it becomes capable of observing both itself and the world outside. The observer's position makes it possible to perceive the past as an almost infinite succession of circles, historical repetitions that constitute the necessity of existence. At the boundary of this accumulated past, the outline of the constructed future begins to emerge, a future that has yet to be constructed. The past pushes, the future pulls. The past is the cause, the future is the goal. The square strives to become the circle strives to become the square. In the young mind, the situation is fundamentally different. Children cannot perceive the threefold structure of time. For them, only the present exists, but the present as a dual nature, simultaneously composed of both past and future. It is a present made of both the circle and the square. The square serves as the stable field upon which the circle moves, supported by the foundation established by the adult generation. Within this illustration, the square represents the adulthood, the crystallization of mature consciousness, striving for clarity, permanence, and clearly defined boundaries. It is the form capable of saying, "Here I end and there you begin." The circle, by contrast, symbolizes childhood potential, open infinity, unrestricted becoming, movement without beginning or end. The circle is the eternal impulse towards play, freedom, and innocence, seeing the world as uninterrupted field of possibilities. All of these sketches exist in order to explain time, past, present, and future, in its entirety. Wholeness means nothing less than perceiving all dimensions simultaneously and understanding how every element influences every other. This is a synthetic image. It stands in contrast to the ordinary image of consciousness, which perceives past, present, and future as separate categories. This diagram illustrates Leonardo da Vinci's definition of a planet, a according to which the totality of the plant is not contained within the physical boundaries where it begins and ends. Rather, its wholeness exists through its relationship with everything that influences it.